Welcome to another episode of the Spa Business Mastery Podcast. My name is Kirsten Foss, and today is Spa Marketing with Delia. Delia is my marketing director here at Kirsten Foss Coaching and our sister company, Virtual Spa Business Management. And we are coming to you once a month to share spa marketing ideas, strategies with you, because we know that this is a huge piece of your business that you struggle with. So today's topic is about how to repurpose your content for marketing. And I want to bring this up because we know all of you hate creating content in your marketing. So we wanted to share with you some easier ways to repurpose one piece of content into many other different platforms, so that you have your messaging and your visibility across multiple channels rather than just posting on social media and having one post. Because hopefully you know by now the social media algorithms means that hardly any of your followers are actually seeing your posts. So if you're relying on social media, one post, you're not getting your messaging out there as well as you could, and as in kind of more of a breadth and depth, if you will. So let's talk about, first, let's talk about the first pain point is like what's wrong with creating content in the spa industry. So Delia, what would you say is the first pain point for spa owners when it comes to creating content?
Well, first pain point when creating, well, you had already said that most spa owners don't feel that they're good at it and they hate doing it. So the other piece to that is it takes time to think about content and come up with it. And especially if you're creating multiple content and not streamlining it. So there's that piece to it as well. And as a result, we've talked about the overwhelm of marketing and social media in general. It creates that extra piece of overwhelm. And I think that's where a lot of spa owners get stuck. And a lot of times when you're overwhelmed, you just stop. It's like a quick halt and they don't know what to do. And then you start putting out content that really isn't reaching your audience the right way. It's not speaking your brand voice or your messaging that you want to get across, because you're just trying to get it out there because you don't want to have to deal with maybe more of the strategy piece to it.
So. Yeah, for sure. And, like that big piece of overwhelm comes from, not knowing how to create the content. But just like you said, the time it takes to create content. And I think a lot of spa owners feel like they have to create one set of content for social media, and then they have to come up with some new ideas about what to send in an email. And then if I tell them you need to, you should be sending 2 emails a month, they're like, oh my God, I got to come up with more stuff. Yeah. And then when I'm suggesting, get on Facebook Lives, IGTV Lives, they're like, oh my God, I have to come up with more different content. Like it's just too much.
Yeah. What to post. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you spoke about the second pain point about content for spa owners is just that because of all those other pain points, they don't get seen by consumers as much as they could be. So, if they're needing, if you as a spa owner need more visibility, like more eyeballs on your business of just consumers, if you need more clients booking, more products sold, then you just have to be creating content. It's kind of like it's like a full stop. If you want to be seen and visible, you have to be creating some sort of content that shows, and it's not just any kind of content. It's content that shows your expertise and your experience that way.
And I guess, a piece of that as well too is the value to the client. So because everybody has different values into what they are interested in, what they would purchase. And so if you're tapping into, your client's pain points, they see value in what you're saying as well too. So having that, like you said, you have to have content in order to be visible, but the right kind of content. So you want to make sure that you know who your audience is and that you're tapping into what it is that they need.
So maybe can you share a little bit about what content actually means, so, to give some examples? Because I think sometimes spa owners feel like content is like, I have to write a blog post. That's right. Content.
Well, I mean, content comes in many different various forms. So definitely a blog is content, but you could also, video is content, your email is content, your social media post is content. And so you can take the same, theme across all your platforms and turn it into the right content for the platform. So if it means that you have a social media post, you don't need to go and think of a brand new topic to now send out in an email or into a blog. You can repurpose that content and turn it into content on your other platforms.
Yeah. So, and what that would look like, it's not like you're just going to copy and paste your social media post into a blog post. You want to
There,
expand?
yeah, there needs to be a little bit more substance in your blog, because obviously the way a blog gets read is very different than a social media post. You have, a small space in your social media to be able to get your marketing message across. A blog post can expand a little bit further, give you a little bit more educational tidbits in there based off of, what it is that your topics are for your social media. So you're expanding a little bit more. And blogs are also linking to articles as well too, so that you've got some backing as well, as far as that what what you're talking about. And same with video. You've got a short video. Well, you can take those topics from your video and you can turn it into an email. Email is going to be a little bit shorter than what a blog post would be, so you just need to expand a little bit further on what it is that you mean in your videos. So everything has different lengths to it. And so it's easier to start off with, getting your topics kind of sorted out within social media. And then you spa owners are super smart, so you know what you're talking about. And it's just a matter of, it's almost like if you're going to repurpose a social media post, how would you explain that a little bit further to a client? So you would have those conversations probably at length with your client. So you're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Actually, even another good point as well too, you can repurpose client conversations. So
Yeah. And I think that was, you gave that tip last month in our social media, marketing with Delia. I think you talked about that. So we'll link back to that as well. So, okay. So what Delia is saying is you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So within the 1 month of a calendar year, and you are wanting to focus on, just upping your marketing game in a way that really it's just you're going to use one piece of content and expand on it on different platforms for that month, so that you're not having to come up with different ideas for email that month and a different idea for social media. I mean, for social media, you're going to have multiple posts. And we've talked about this in other marketing podcasts about the weight of your social media posts. So we recommend 12, and 4 of those should be educational posts. And those are going to be longer posts, like almost like microblogging. So it won't take you that much more to take that little microblog and turn it into a blog.
yeah.
So essentially, we just want to make this whole creating content a whole lot easier for you spa owners. And sometimes it just means framing it up for you and how you can do this easier. So I want to give you an example about how this actually works. And I want to share with you my process of creating content. And I have the same piece of content goes across 4 other platforms. So I have 5 platforms in total. I create one piece of content each week. And actually last year, when kind of my personal life was going a little bit sideways with health of a family member last summer, I actually dropped it down. I was doing it once a week, but I actually dropped it down to twice a week. And I didn't see any change in kind of my growth last year with that. I'm back up to once a week. But this is my process. And many of you probably might have figured this out anyways. So I do on Thursdays, the Spa Business Mastery podcast at noon Pacific. Then that piece of content gets turned into a blog post. And so how I do that is I've got a Google Doc, kind of like a running tally of my blog posts. I make notes, like topic, I make some talking points in there. I use that notes for my actual topic. So, just in case I don't want to forget anything. Then I actually have one of my team members, Emma, who is an amazing writer. She's our team blogger. She takes my notes. I know, thank you, Emma. It's not that I can't write, I can. I just, there's other things that I need to be working on. Same as spa owners. There's more higher level tasks I need to be working on. So Emma takes those notes, whips them into a blog that's SEO optimized. Then we take the Facebook Live video, put it on YouTube. Then she takes the Facebook Live audio, strips it. It's now a podcast on Spotify, Apple. Where else is there? It's Google Podcasts. So within the podcast, it's on a whole bunch of other platforms. And then, of course, once a week, if you're on my email list, you'll get an email with a little snippet of the first part of the blog and a click here to read more, or listen more, or watch the video. And then finally, I use a lot of my topics and repurpose them in my social media. So I'll take historical blog posts, take a nugget out of there, and use it for my social media posts. So I created this method because I didn't have a lot of time. When I started getting a lot busier with my coaching practice, I didn't have time to create a lot of content. So honestly, it was like the lazy woman's version of, I need to get my name out there consistently, visibility wise. That was the easiest way to make that happen. So I appreciate that spas are probably may not be across all of those platforms, but there's no reason why they can't.
Well, and here's the other piece to it as well, too, is that, if you've got your, monthly kind of focus that you want to focus on, and you're repurposing that content across all of your platforms, then you're still communicating that consistency across everywhere. So you're not now jumping from, different topics, and it's okay to have different topics in your social media marketing. And, if you want to talk about something different in your blogs, but this just helps to streamline everything and keeps everything, all the information consistent alongside with your monthly focus.
Yeah. And it helps. It really, really strengthens your social media presence. It strengthens, each one of them strengthen each other, right? Because our consumers and our clients like to consume content in different ways. So if you're only posting on Instagram or only posting on Facebook, you're missing a whole other, arena to be viewed.
And you've got different demographics on each platform as well, too. So you've got, the 25 to 35-year-olds on Instagram, where you've got a bit of an older generation on Facebook. You've got, younger crowd that views on YouTube, right? You've got the older generation reads their emails, right? So if you're tapping into each step, then you have better visibility across all different demographics that you're trying to reach.
I remember actually speaking to a spa owner, it was quite a few years ago, and we were actually talking about repurposing her content. And she was kind of, I can't remember exact situation, but I remember her pushing back on me when I asked, where she was mostly on Facebook. Okay. And when I asked why she wasn't on Instagram, she says, my clients aren't on Instagram. And I said, but you need more new clients. You've told me you need some fresh blood into your business, younger blood, because you've been doing this for a while. Your clientele is aging out of your business. And so she just didn't kind of see that, oh, I have to actually move over to Instagram because I need to attract that kind of new, younger clientele into my business. So don't get hung up on what your clients will or will not do. Because if you need more business, you can't be just speaking to the existing clients in your marketing.
And especially, in the spa industry as well, too, most of us work with skin. And so you've got different products that target different skins, different ages, even for that purpose as well, too. Even if you're just a skincare line or an e-commerce, you've switched over from, treatments to more e-com sales. It's important to be able to reach a larger audience and, again, still have that consistency across your marketing message on all the different platforms. They all tie into each other and they all help work and support your overall marketing.
Yeah, for sure. And, we're big on recommending to our social media clients, like, to make sure they are also email marketing. So they're not just relying on social media, because like I said at the beginning, not everybody's going to see your posts. So if you're really just relying on one platform, you're really missing a lot of opportunity.
And I think that there's this almost expectation that, just maybe kind of more of an assumption that, if I get it out on social media, that everybody's going to see it. And then, it quickly falls short. It's like, well, why am I not getting all these clients booking in? Well, because if you're only posting on social media, you're only reaching a very small market. It's so important because it has to tie into the whole marketing. So it's not in marketing, it's not one thing that works. It's a whole omni-channel marketing package that makes it.
And you mentioned something that I wanted to also kind of shine a little bit more light on, is a huge part of our industry this year, well, in 2020, like after COVID hit, started shifting into e-commerce, like more stronger e-commerce. And so what that also means is that you have to market differently. You can't do the same old marketing, brick and mortar marketing, as you do for e-commerce. When you shift over into adding an e-commerce revenue stream, you got to market like a digital, you have to market like an e-commerce business. So I want to make sure that our spa owners manage their own expectations of adding e-commerce and wanting to sell more products online. It's going to mean that you need to up your game in terms of creating content, because there has to be some value and substance and education around that, because you're selling the product, not the service, right? And you're selling your expertise behind the product. So it's even more important to have your business like digital marketing, not just social media, not just email.
I know that seems, so overwhelming, because digital marketing, I don't do digital marketing. I don't even do marketing. A lot of, I've been in the spa industry for a very long time and, owned a few myself. So I get it. I completely understand what that feels like, and that constant, like, oh, I've got to get it done. But if you follow this little formula, that it makes all of that so much simplified for you. And so, yes, you might feel like you've got all this content to create to be able to put on these different platforms, but if you keep it simple and stick to this this process, then you will find it might take a little bit in the beginning to kind of figure out what it like, but once you see the value of it and how easy it can be transferred from one platform to another, you'll be like, oh, thank you.
Well, and the other thing I want to mention is that you may want to consider hiring a VA to help you with this. If tech isn't your thing and you really just don't even want to or have time to work on repurposing in these different channels, there are lots of VAs that's just what they do. They'll do your social media for you, but you can task them with, okay, awesome social media for the month. Okay, let's add to this. Maybe the first couple of months you're having them repurpose that social media content into a blog that, they write the gist of it. You go in and do some edits and have them SEO it and all that kind of thing, and put their backlinks in to support your authority. And then maybe get that rolling for a couple of months. And then maybe you want to start adding, doing Instagram or IGTV lives and adding that to the system of repurposing. So you don't have to kind of go from like one channel social media to 5, but make a plan to start adding them. If you don't have a VA and you're already struggling to keep up with your min, that's a flag that you probably need some admin support. It's probably time to look at what that's going to look like for you in terms of hiring a subcontractor or a contractor. All right, so I think we've shared what we wanted to share in terms of how spa owners can repurpose their marketing content to be on like 5 channels rather than just one, and really be able to get to have their brand and their expertise and experience much more highly visible to attract their ideal clients.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, thanks for joining me again, Delia, and we'll see you back here in another month.
Sounds good. Thank you.